Sorry about that. You're welcome. We are super happy to have you here.
All right. So today's topic on validating product ideas and how do you ensure that you achieve product market fit as early as possible. I'll focus on the key frameworks and key tools that are used today by a lot of organizations, and I'll include my personal experience with each of them to explain them better. So my introduction, I am Akash Purohit, co-founder Code9. Code9 it's a low-code platform which is focusing on backend software development. We are still in prototyping stage. We are talking to a lot of our initial customers, potential customers, and we are trying to figure out what's the best way to, what's the best possible user experience that we can provide. I've done my engineering from NSIT and I've done my MBA from FMS. I've worked with organizations like Hindustan Times Delivery, Wadi, and Droom. I have over 10 years of product experience, and during that time, I have had opportunity to launch 0 to 1 products, scale 100 to 1,000 products, and it's been a wonderful journey. So, moving on to our topic for today. So, when we talk about validating your idea, and this goes both for product managers as well as anybody who tomorrow wants to, start their own venture or startup. The first thing is that entire startup or entire thing is based on is an idea. An idea alone is not sufficient to call it a $1 million venture. It's the validation process. The first step, which guarantees you that okay, this is the right direction. It's the guiding. I would say it's the guiding star. So why do you want to validate? So there are three important points, which is to reduce risk and uncertainty. What it does is every idea comes with its own strength and its own weaknesses. So validation helps you identify the weaknesses, and it helps you create mitigation strategy around those weaknesses as well. And it helps you avoid costly mistakes. There have been so many incidents in the past wherein the product managers and entrepreneurs have launched product without carefully identifying what are the risks involved in that idea, and they have had to pay hefty price. And Intel is an example. Intel launched a long ago, I think there was a error in divide by 5 algorithm, and it costed them billions of dollars, right? It also helps you save time and resources in a way that if you identify your high impact features early on things that are going to make your customers stick, make your make your customers sign up fast. You identify them early on, way early on than people who do not validate, and you align your product, your idea around your market and your users' expectations. So you kind of hedge your risks by validating it. So essential frameworks, I think there are three main frameworks. One is the lean startup, wherein you build a prototype, you do a basic market research, and you take your initial customer feedback. Basis that prototype, you go out in the market again, you talk to your customers, you talk to your users, and you figure out, if there are any iterations required. Then you build an MVP on top of that, and then you test that MVP. So here I would like to also, define what's a prototype and what's an MVP. A prototype is something that solves the core problem. That's the solution of the core problem that you are trying to solve. For example, in Code 9, what we are trying to solve is the entire, we are actually redefining the entire software development process, right? Now, the prototype itself is the user experience. How is a developer who's writing lines of codes right now going to familiarize and use the visual coding and get himself or herself acquainted with the visual coding aspect. So, and MVP is when you club everything around, I would say, club the necessary features around your prototype. So, for example, let's say there is a core engine to your startup idea. Now, user onboarding, your payments, your subscriptions, your notification services, all of these are auxiliary services that sit around your uh, core idea, and they are, I would say, they are necessary to launch in the market, right? So the prototype is something that solves the problem, the core problem. The MVPs, I think it would enable the user, I would say, user account management, payments, subscriptions, and notifications, all of these. And when you club the core prototype and these two, I think that's MVP. And that is when it is called that it solves the bare minimum of your product, right? People define MVP as something that is the simplest version of the product that you roll out that solves your key problem. But I think if you break that down, the prototype is something that solves the problem, and MVP is something that enables self onboarding, self signups, and payments and subscriptions. Now, once you launch an MVP, then you enable your feedback loops. You put in place feedback channels via social media, or whether it is embedded in your platform, and you keep looking at your feedbacks. What are your users saying? What are your customers saying? And you build on top of that. The second would be jobs to be done. It's again these three. I think they are similar in a lot of ways, but they are kind of different in the approach. So jobs to be done is you understand the job, you understand what needs to be done, and you create the hire. Basically, you build the solution for it, and you just measure that the job is being done effectively. So an idea would be that if the brake on the car is working is required, then you install the brakes and you just see that brakes are working properly when they are pressed. As simple as that. So that's one approach. Then there is design thinking. Now, design thinking is very detailed, and it's an entire subject on its own. But what I have done is I have tried to simplify it. So what you do is you empathize. You do a lot of focus group interviews. You empathize with your users. You understand what the challenges that they are facing in the industry that you are operating. Then you clearly articulate the problem in like one sentence. Like very clearly you identify, okay, this is the problem that the users are facing. Then you generate solutions around that problem. And the idea is to be very simple in solving that problem. The hardest thing about doing simple things is that they are hardest things to do, right? So you pin down solutions that are really really simply solving the problem, and then you create a prototype around your solutions. You have to pick one solution, and you create a prototype for it, and then you validate the solution, and that can be done by releasing it to the same focus group that you had interviewed earlier. And different organizations do it different way. For example, Apple does it by launching beta programs. Android does it by launching beta programs, wherein you get beta updates, and basis your feedbacks, they improvise their features. Right. So these are the key essential frameworks for validation. Now, what are the different tools? So framework, I would say they are the structure that you follow, and tools are I would say tools are ways that you can. Uh, I would say they are processes or tools that you can use to validate your idea. So the first one and the first and foremost thing is customer interviews. Uh, in and I would like to divide this into segments. One would be B2C and one would be B2B. B2C is, I would say, simpler. You have indicators from across industry. You have indicators from your competitors. You have indicators from how market is performing. You have indicators from how your competition is performing and how the overall industry is performing, right? So you get a lot of feedback from there, and then you reach out to your close friend circle or network whom you know are very much interested in that particular problem or solution or let's say industry, and then you converse with them, and do a kind of informal interview to figure out that the idea that you are thinking, is it worth it to work on it or not. Um, on B2B side, it's kind of difficult because every organization has a different need, and you need to have a very focused interview with these folks on the B2B side, and you really need to peel the onion to get to the core of the problem that they are facing, and every organization would need another form or factor of your product. So it becomes tough for you as a PM or as an entrepreneur to figure out a common platform that everybody can, come and do things their own way. So the first and foremost thing would be doing customer interviews. And then surveys and questionnaires, I think a lot of people do this, a lot of startups in their early stages do this. We have done this. So what what I have learned is where they are helpful is that they give you a direction. If you interview, let's say, 20 to 25 people in the B2B side, and let's say on 100 to 150 on the B2C side, you start getting a sense of what actually is missing there. For example, if you want to launch a super niche e-commerce marketplace for, let's say, men's sports t-shirt, so then you interview with sports enthusiasts, players, athletes, and you figure out what is the problem they are facing when they are out to buy, t-shirts. And it can happen that maybe they say that the quality of the material of the clothing that comes is it's not up to the mark for the price that they are charging. So the pricing becomes a problem, quality becomes a problem. So the more you interview, the more accurate the direction and problem becomes. Like, okay, this is the problem that the I would say the user population in that interested in that segment is facing, and it will give you both a quantitative and a very qualitative insights basis. Okay, this is the problem that they are solving, or let's say the problem is being faced by this specific age group or this specific demographic. So both of these will come out from these surveys and questionnaires. Once you have launched, I think A/B testing becomes super critical. I remember doing this in Hindustan Times, where we had to launch a revamped subscription page wherein you would come and purchase subscription. And we had two brilliant designs, and I could not decide which one to go live with. So what we did was on the 20% of traffic, we diverted 10% of traffic on page A and 10% on page B. And completely basis on the results that we got, we decided on what the main page would be. So it becomes super critical at the stage wherein you are laser sharp focused on your conversion rate, and you want to move that needle to the right further. And I think A/B testing becomes super critical there, and it gives you a lot of real world insights that what's working, what's not working. Uh, you would be surprised, like even the color of the button, green versus orange, red versus yellow, they perform completely differently for different products. Uh, like yellow cannot work on e-commerce, but it can work on, let's say, something which is a social media platform. So you have to, iterate again and again to figure out what's working for you in A/B testing. Then you have prototyping tools. This is mainly to, once you have a basic idea in place, once you have a basic flow in place, then what you want to do is you want to prototype super fast so that you can launch fast and then you can learn fast. And if you are failing, you fail fast and then you move on. So that's the idea behind using prototyping tools today. And there are, I would say, low code, no code platforms that are coming up that would not just help you in designing, that would actually help you in launching a very basic version of your platform or app that you want to launch. So that when it's launched, you get the market feedback and then you iterate upon it. So this would be tools for validation, and this is a small video. So once you guys see this video, what I'll do is I talk about my experience so far. It's been 4 months that we have been working on Code 9, and all of this that I have explained, I would try and sum up, with my experience.
We stand at a pivotal moment in history, a time when code has been the building block of progress, but the daunting challenges that loom over our world are still waiting to be solved. Because groundbreaking ideas are trapped by the glacial pace of traditional software development. It's time to change the status quo. Meet Code 9, your catalyst for rapid, secure, and simplified software development. With intuitive visual coding and the power of a generative AGI assistant, it revolutionizes how you bring your ideas to life. Built-in security features ensure safe and robust code, empowering you to build with confidence. Now you can go from idea to deployment in days, not months. Our mission is to unlock the collective potential of developers and enterprises around the world. We envision a future where technical expertise and exorbitant costs are no longer barriers. The future of software development is here, and it is bold and limitless. Here's your chance to be a part of this seismic shift. Join the revolution.
Yeah, so 4 months ago, me and my co-founder Satyendra, we got together and we wanted to start something of our own. And Satyendra comes from a very, I would say, software development side. And we figured out that, the coding methodology, or let's say the software development methodology at the back end, needs to be solved. Right now, I would say, and I think a lot of people that I have interviewed, a lot of CTOs that I have interviewed with, they agree on this, that backend software development is very subjective right now. So what we decided that, maybe it's time we give a visual user experience to do all of that a software developer does on lines of coding. So we started with a very basic idea that, okay, this is going to be a simple workflow wherein a developer can come and just create the workflow, and each node will have a logic of its own, and the output pins will transfer the information from one node to another. But then it had its challenges of its own. And we again, so what we wanted to do was we wanted to validate whether or not we are on the right track. So we interviewed a lot of software developers. We interviewed a lot of CTOs and entrepreneurs who were techies before, and now they are managing their own startup. And we tried to identify if we are on the right direction. So from their feedback, we figured out, okay, no, we need another abstract layer of, let's say, state machines that we finally decided to implement. So it's been 4 months, and even today we go back to the fundamentals. We ask each other really, really tough questions, and we still try to figure out uh, even the simplest things, that should this be done? Should this be there in our first cut? What will this achieve? So the most important thing is to have people around you with whom you can ask really tough questions, and who can literally tell you that, okay, no, this does make sense, this does not make sense. uh, Having and I have one thought process, that when Steve Jobs launched Mac, iPhone, iPhone didn't exist at that time. So there was no market. I would say there was no competitor. It was all red ocean, and there was no guarantee that it would succeed or not. So while in whiles, tools, structures, frameworks are there to help you out, but they do not help you as much in 0 to 1 journeys. And I've had first-hand experience in that. So what I would say is, do not rely completely on them. Use a mix match. Have your own permutations and combinations of what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and don't try to fix your solution into the problem. Just keep thinking about the problem as much as you can before you jump to your solutions. Uh, Vishal, I think this is it from my end.
Thanks, Akash. Again, thanks for a wonderful session. I always have some takeaways every time, every time we chat. Folks, we have time for questions now.
Yeah.
Even people who have joined in from LinkedIn Live, please keep dropping in your questions in the comment section, and Priyal from my team will be, obviously addressing them to Akash while we have him here. So let's spend the next few minutes, probably 10 minutes, to address any questions you guys might have through what Akash has covered today, and or anything similar in the product management space. We are always happy to talk about or answer any questions you might have on in the product management domain as well. So happy to do that. So please, we are opening the forum up. So keep dropping in your questions either in the chat section, or you can unmute yourself and then ask us directly as well.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, please do.
Yes, yeah, just I want to know that suppose I am I'm bringing up a software. It can be anything. It can be a mobile app or a e-commerce app, or maybe it's a payments app or something. So when I'm bringing that to the market, you said like prototype, and then then you are creating an MVP. So when I'm creating a prototype, that means, is it some kind of innovative positioning I am doing, like some kind of a mock-up I am building, and then I am releasing it as an introduction to the market to capture the sentiments of the customers, or is it something different? I didn't get that idea, like the prototyping idea. I want to say.
Vishal, did you get the question? I lost halfway.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I missed towards the end.
Yeah.
What is actually the value proposition? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I am again repeating. What I'm telling is, suppose I am building a software. It can be a mobile app. It can be anything. It can be an web app or whatever. Suppose it's an e-commerce app, and
Yeah.
I don't know how the customers will react. It's the first time I am launching an app. So I am starting with a prototype. So what I mean to say is, when I'm creating a prototype, is it some kind of a mock-up or is some kind of a trial version that my developers and we have just created, and then we have launched in the market to see, to capture the sentiments of the customer, and if they are happy, then we will go with the MVP. Is it like the flow, or like how the generally journey starts? I mean to say, how the journey
Understood.
will start.
Understood. So, see, so when I say prototype is something that you do not launch to the market, right? Uh, I'll tell you why. Because let's say if you are operating in US market, if you launch your product early without ironing out all the issues, your product will not survive at all, because the competition there is cutthroat. So when I say prototype means for B2C, it can be your close network, your friends whom you share Figma design with, or let's say a working mockup on Figma, right? Where you can walk them through the journey and you explain them what the product is trying to do. And then you take their focused feedback. You have a questionnaire prepared, and then you ask them questions one by one, so that they can accurately tell you, okay, what did they like, what they don't like, what can be better, why did they not like what they did not like, all of this. So idea of going out with prototype to your friends and families and network first is basically it's to ensure that your thought process and the market that you want to operate in, they are aligned. And even the users who are interested in a product that is solving that sort of solution, your network and people that you connect with, they can give you an idea. Okay, this mockup is looking great. Maybe you can improve these two features in this way and maybe remove that. So a lot of addition and subtraction goes on in the prototyping stage. You don't want to do that on a live product, even if it's an MVP. You do not want to do that, because it incurs both time, energy, and cost, right? So with Figma, it's just that you iterate on the design and then you move on to the next stage. Now, the next question you can ask is, okay, so when do I decide that, okay, this is the right time, because the feedback will keep on coming? So, what I would say is it's always subjective, and it depends person to person, based on what your thought process is like and the kind of market that you are operating in. For B2B, it is 100% mandatory to have a very smooth experience, because if you want to get into B2B market, you don't want to launch a half-baked product at all. In B2C market, okay, some things, not the core engine, but some things can be left out. But still, the core problem that you are trying to solve, the solution should solve it effectively, right? So once you have your mockup ironed out, I would say the final mockup should go into the MVP stage, wherein you have I would say, auxiliary features stitched to the core solution, and then you launch the MVP.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions from LinkedIn Live, Priyal? Pratyanshu and Rupam, if you have any questions, now's the time.
No questions from LinkedIn Live, Vishal.
Okay.
Good.
Well, we'll just wait for a minute. If you have any questions, come our way. If not, we can end today's session before time, I would say, um, and uh, and uh, and continue our day.
Hello.
Just one more thing I just want to ask. Sorry, someone I am interrupting.
No worries.
Is the question to the PM school on a whole, like not on this class session. I want to know that whether you are planning to do any session on A/B testing or not.
Not anything like planned per se. So we leave it to the product leaders to decide what they want to talk about. But maybe we will make a note of that topic, Rupam, and do an A/B testing specific session sometime soon. Thanks for
Yes,
the
sir.
Hey, Prashanshu, yes.
So I have worked in oil and petroleum sector. I was working in Hindustan Petroleum for 4.5 years. I have an experience of 4 years, 7 months there. Now I want to switch to this product management role. I had taken a career break from 2002 August to 2023 of this year for preparing for UPSC. But now I want to get back into the corporate world, and I don't wish to go to oil and petroleum sector. Rather, I want to venture into this product management field. So, what are the options available for me? What courses, what all things should I be looking for?
Well, I'm going to like talk about PM school. Since I'm since I started with giving a brief about how we help with helping folks in the journey to become product managers or at least bag their first product roles. I would say
Sir,
structured
just 1 second.
courses.
I'll have to drop off.
No problem, Akash. Thanks so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Guys, again, if you have any questions to Akash specifically, of course, we'll be sharing more details. You can find him on LinkedIn and drop him a note if needed. He'll be happy to answer. Thanks again, Akash. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Making it happen.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry. So Pratanshu, there is the thing is you'll have to. It's a chicken and egg situation if you've not worked in product management space, but you're planning to, or you've not built products and you're hoping to crack a role there in product management. Yes. Two things is what I would advise. One is obviously you should have a know-how about building products and doing and understanding what the role entails, right? So for that you need to go through or at least update yourself through very structured learning courses. I mean, you can do it asynchronously using content platforms like Udemy, etc., or you can work with very specific, I would say, structured, hands-on live programs like PM schools, right? If you really have a long stretch of time, you do not have 8 weeks committed, then probably I would say, you can take up courses online. But if you're very particular and if you really want to crack the role, then doing a compressed learning in short amount of time so that, you get to the stage of applying sooner makes sense. Second, you would want to have built something, right? It could be a product, it could be something which demonstrates that you have the capability to envision something and build it. That is a super important signal or marker for becoming PMs or being at least accepted into as a stage where we are in the next step of evaluation for the role itself. So always look at no-code tools, look at other ways, no-code website and app platforms, build something and put it in your portfolio. As part of the cohort, we also do have a portfolio session to help you build your portfolio to make it for it to have all the necessary information to crack the role for you as well. So, long story short, get knowledgeable in this space, understand what the role entails, and build something, put it on your portfolio, do a product case study or product breakdown case studies. Essentially you're analyzing a product and from a product manager's point of view, and then seeing what's working well, what's not working well, etc. Doing some kind of analysis on products, and converting into a case study also helps.
Sir, I have been taking a Udemy course, but like it's okay, it gives me the knowledge part of it, but what you need to get into the sector are the connections and all. You see, you need someone to refer your CVs and all those things. So will this cohort be helping me